Hello students, in our today's class we are going to discuss another poem from the syllabus of class 10 prescribed by CBSE. The name of the book is First Flight and the name of the poem is The Ball Poem, penned down by John Berryman. Before we discuss the poetic devices, let's just go through the poem, students. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over there it is in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility. In a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes the epistemology of loss, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up, by John Berryman. Students, this poem is written in free verse, hence there is no rhyme scheme. But we do have symbolism and metaphor. Let's discuss symbolism first. The term ball is used as a symbol for boys' past childhood days, boys' innocence, and as he's being prepared for the life of grown-ups. It is also symbolic of the boy gaining knowledge on how to experience loss and survive. It is also symbolic of a boy becoming a man. Metaphor is used in the line, all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. In this line, the poet is using a metaphor to draw a comparison between the lost ball and the loss of the boy's childhood. I would like to further add this line, particularly this line, all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Usually, this line, whole line of the phrase comes for explanation. A very simple explanation is there for this. This sentence, I repeat the sentence, all his young days into the harbor where his ball went, means the boy is getting the flashback of memories which he had spent playing with this beloved ball or his dear ball. I repeat, all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. The meaning of this line is the boy is getting the flashback of memories he had spent playing with this ball. As he is seeing that the ball is lost, the ball is getting disappeared, okay? And metaphor is definitely used. There is a use of alliteration, students. You see in the line what is used. Buys a ball back. The poet stresses on the repetition of certain sounds in the words to enhance the flow of the poem. Another poetic device which is used is repetition. Berryman repeats the word ball at various points of the poem. He uses the word on surface to describe the loss of the ball. He also uses it as a symbol for loss of childhood innocence. The phrase how to stand up is repeated to explain the importance of overcoming grief in the poem. What is also repeated. Students, enjambment is there in this poem. You just look at the second and the third line of the first stanza and first to third line of the second stanza. You will find enjambment being used over there. You know what is enjambment? Nothing but when the thought goes to the next line without the use of punctuation. The poet has also used apostrophe. This poetic device is used when the poet addresses this poem to an absent audience. In this poem, the poet uses the device of an apostrophe in the 13th line as he directly speaks to the little boy and tells him that balls are always liable to get lost. But we never see the boy responding to him. The poet uses the literary device of apostrophe to address the little boy. Although he is talking to the boy is away from him and does not respond to him. The next poetic device which is used is transferred epithet. This poetic device is used when an emotion is attributed to a non-living thing after being displaced from a person. In this poem, the poet uses the device of transferred epithet in the 15th line when he writes the phrase desperate eyes. It is not that the eyes of the boys are sad, but that the boy itself is sad and that his eyes are expressing that emotions on his face. And what is he desperate about? To get back the same ball. Then anaphora is used. Anaphora is the repetition of the first word of the first or two or more lines. So here we have what is being repeated. Imagery is used, like you can imagine how the ball is bouncing merrily down the street. Assonance is also used. Assonance is nothing but the repetition of vowel sound. Student, this slide is just giving you the introduction of the poem. The poet John Berryman, through this poem, the ball poem, has described the reality of life which everyone has to face one day. He has touched the topic of how to stand up after facing the challenges of life. Then we come down to the theme of the poem. John Berryman is trying to tell how the childhood memories are very important to us, how we have to grow up. The opportunities once lost will not come back to us. He is also emphasizing on two important things. One is the sense of responsibility, and second is the epistemology of loss. If the thing is very dear to us, we should be responsible for it. And in case, in spite of all the cautions, in spite of being very careful, still if we lose an opportunity or meet challenges in our life, we should know how to face those challenges and move on. This is what is the theme of the poem. Okay, let's summarize the poem, the ball poem written by John Berryman. In this poem, there's a little boy who is playing with the ball. The ball is bouncing merrily. Merrily over here stands for the energy of the ball. And as the boy is playing with the ball, he loses control over the ball, and the ball goes down the street and into the harbor or into the water body. The boy is lost. The boy has lost the ball. And now this boy is very, very sad, in grief. He stands still. His eyes are desperate. Why are his eyes desperate? He wants to get the same ball back with which he had spent his childhood. He has very dear and fond memories with that ball. The poet tells the reader or the boy that he is not going to help him. He's not going to console the boy by telling him that don't you worry, there'll be other balls, or he's going to get him a new ball. Why so? Because he wants the boy to learn the lesson of responsibility. The same for the readers. If anything is very important to you, you should be very, very careful. You should be full of responsibilities. You should know your responsibilities. This is the first lesson what he wants the boy to learn. The second lesson which he wants the boy to learn is the epistemology of loss. It means the nature of loss. The poet says that the boy must learn the ways of grown up. The world of possession means the world of grown ups. In the world of grown ups, you will face many challenges in your life, but you should know how to overcome those challenges, how to face those difficulties, and how to move on. So as I told you in the beginning of this video only, students, that I have described stanza wise. So in this slide, stanza 1 is being explained. The word meaning is being given. In this, the very important thing is that the poet is slightly rebuking the boy by telling what kind of boy is he, that he could not save his ball or control his ball or take care of his ball. And now the boy is sad because the ball is in the water, or he has lost the ball. So the poetry devices used in the stanza are anaphora, assonance, imagery, and repetition. In stanza 2, the poet wants to say there is no use to tell the boy or to console the boy that don't you worry, you'll get another ball. Why? Because he wants him to learn the lesson of responsibility. So he says that getting another or a new ball for the boy is just useless, and he is not going to help him or to disturb him or intrude on him. The poetry devices used in the stanza are repetition, asynteron, and conjunction. So let's discuss stanza 3. It's a very important stanza. I read it out. In a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. In the world of possessions is referring to the world of grown-ups. In this stanza, the ball is also symbolizing opportunities. John Berryman wants to tell that in the life of grown-ups, many a times we do lose the opportunities, and opportunities once lost don't come back. Money over here is called external because money can buy lots of things, but money cannot buy everything. In the context of the poem, money over here can buy new balls for the young boy, but money cannot get him the old ball with which he had beautiful and fond memories. The next lines: he is learning well behind his desperate eyes. His eyes are called desperate because he wants to get the same ball back, somehow the other. What is he learning? Let's see. The epistemology of loss. In the previous stanza, the poet wanted the boy to learn the sense of responsibility. Now in this stanza, the poet wants the boy to learn the epistemology of loss. This means that the boy is learning to learn the real truth of life, which states that you have to accept the miseries of life and stand up again. You have to fight it out. You have to face the challenges and then rise and move on in life. So I read the last lines again. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes the epistemology of loss, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. Basically, all the grown-ups, they know that they cannot live a life without facing the challenges. And they should also know how to face the challenges and move on. So the poetic devices used in this stanza are alliteration, assonance, repetition. Students, the entire poem is not having a rhyme scheme. It is in the free verse. These are the few question answers based on the poem. You can just go through them. These are just few MCQs for your practice. Try to practice a lots and lots of MCQs which are given on internet. This will help to increase as well as improve your understanding of the poem. Thank you, students. Please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel. My next video will be on the poem Amanda and also on how to attempt the question paper of English to get the maximum benefit as well as maximum marks. Thank you, students. God bless you all.